Shalom. This is Mary Omni from the World Government House of King David, Holy Covenant Constitutional Enforcer. This is a Republic Notice. The title of this Republic Notice is called, After Sunblast, Ison's Judgment is Alive and Well. After Sunblast, Ison's Judgment is Alive and Well. It's December 2013, and we're coming back close to the cosmic alignment, and everybody is starting to get excited. They want to know what's going on in the cosmic, and, you know, it's a lot of misinformation out there, and it's a lot of misunderstanding of what's going on in the cosmic. A lot of people don't know that it's the Star Wars under full throttle, and it's a lot going on. There's war on every level because we are in the days of Armageddon. Make no mistake about it. Okay, make no mistake about it. This is the go down, go down. This is the go down, go down. Now, I'm talking to constitutional Black Americans, but all is welcome to hear. Now, if you listen to any of my videos, you would have heard one called COMET NEGRA release her son called Ison. COMET NEGRA released her son called Ison, and I told you about COMET NEGRA. I told you she was the comet in 1347, and she released her son 666 years later. Comet Ison really has a factor of 528,666, years behind him. So therefore, he was around at the time of his mother, or before. I mean, he was around before the foundations of the world, really. So what I'm trying to let you know is, after the Sunblast, and I'm talking to you on December the 4th, 2013. After the Sunblast, Comet Ison's judgment is alive and very well, okay? See, what astronomers and a lot of scientists see with telescopes is still like them looking with the naked eye. I mean, the naked eye is only amplified. So you're looking with the naked eye in amplification of the naked eye, but you're still looking with your eyes. You're not looking with the third eye. You're looking with physical eyes in a telescope and an amplification. So when you're looking with physical eyes in a telescope and amplification, it may look to them that Comet Ison is dead. But see, when you look with your third eye, and I'm going to give you the third eye cosmic report. In the third eye cosmic report of Comet Ison, Comet Ison is very alive after the blast of the sun, even more alive than he was before. And it occurred during the time and the celebration of Hanukkah. He rededicated the temple, and he took the 144,000 in front of the throne in the Stargate and did what you call a penance. The penance was for forgiveness, putting yourself and throwing yourself on an altar and said, I'm willing to sacrifice for the redemption of our nation, for the rededication of this temple, for the rededication of the New Jerusalem. And this is what Comet Ison did with 144,000. And as he moved towards the sun to do this penance, his tail grew as almost the width of the sun. So this tail is just ginormous. I mean, it's just ginormous. That doesn't mean that the nucleus is not intact. The nucleus, let me just say this. Let me help you understand perihelion. Perihelion, first of all, the word para comes from the Persian language, and it talks about mythical. They call it a mythical super being, like a Superman, a mythical Superman. And it's mythical Superman with human qualities and aspirations, but he's a Superman. And helium is helion. So you call it a superhuman helion and perihelium. So this superhuman helion, perihelium, is Judah. Is the Lion of Judah. And the Lion of Judah starts the judgment in his own house. So he took the nation of Judah to the throne of his father for them to do penance, so that he can then bring the 144,000 and more back to judge the rest of the world. But they had to be judged first. They had to do penance. They had to make up for sins and put away with sins. And they had to throw themselves, so to speak, to the fire and the altar. And they had to risk death for the resurrection. And they had to begin to make amends for all the sins that had been committed through the nation of Judah, Israel. And this what happened with the perihelion. It was a penance. It was a rededication of the temple. It was King Yeshua taking 144,000 in front of the throne to reach levels of purification, so that then that would permeate through the whole Judah, Israel, and they will be given the penance and the cleanliness that they need in order to move beyond the third dimension. To raise the human DNA beyond the third dimension, a penance had to be paid. And the penance was the comet Ison with his 144,000 and other entities of cosmic beings presenting themselves to the altar and willing to face the fiery furnace of judgment themselves. And whether or not they survive the judgment is what most people is wondering about, whether or not the comet Ison survived the judgment. And there's multiple reports that declare the comet Ison dead and say, oh, you know, they dead, the sun burned them. You know, there's jokes being made. Oh, yeah, well, there go your comet. He's dead. He fried in front of the sun and all that. But I got to ask you just one question. Them global elite, they not giving up their underground bunkers, are they? They still running underground to their bunkers, aren't they? They still running underground. Say if they tell them, if they not worried about Comet Ison being alive, or, you know, his whole reign of the tail that he took with him to make that perihelion, if they're not worried about it, give up their bunkers. I bet you they won't. I bet you they won't. I bet you they won't give up their bunkers. I bet you they storing and moving quicker while they telling the world Comet Ison is dead. Okay, and knowing the world going to look with the physical eyes and think the telescope is going to be able to give them the whole 411 when space is 85% of dark matter that you cannot even see inside. You cannot even see inside it unless you have a third eye opening. And they talking about with the two eyes. They're not talking about with no third eye. They think the telescope is the third eye. No matter how powerful your telescope is, it's not the third eye. The third eye is more powerful than the telescope. Okay? Now, this gal, meaning me, this girl from North Philly, without the scientific equipment and the scientific knowledge and the scientific, you know, so-called expertise. I'm from North Philly. I'm an heir from North Philly. And that means that I got a constitutional supreme claim on all of North Philly. I'm declaring it UNESCO, constitutional UNESCO, which means sacred site. Sacred site, because it's where the Son of Man walked. Okay? Now, and I'm telling you, as a girl from North Philly, Comet Ison nucleus not only survived, it thrived. It thrives. And those who make joke about it was fried and it broke up, if it was broke up, especially that tail, you're going to wish it had stayed together. Because this North Philly girl warned you that Comet Negra, the 1347 Black Plague comma, the Black Plague comma of 1347 had sent her son called Ison. Okay, now I'm going to warn you again. Okay, judgment is underway. Comet Ison is coming to judge. Okay, and in order for him to judge, he started with his own house and he cleared that out of the way. Now he's ready to judge the world. And the fact that you make a mockery of him disintegrating or all this stuff that they tell you that he's dead and disintegrated and he fried. Well, let me tell you something. That tail was pretty big. It was almost the width of the sun. And that fact alone should let you know that fire and ice came to some level of neutrality, and it's going to come to you as judgment. Now, Comet Negra gave you the Black Death. As a warning in 1347, 666 years ago, and told you, this is a warning of judgment of you. And it was the Black Plague. The doctors didn't want to treat them. The priests didn't want to read them the last rites. Nobody wanted to go near them. Nobody wanted to touch them. Nobody wanted to do nothing with these people that the Black Plague had come upon. Okay? And this is what Comet Negra did. Now, I told you. I'm the North Philly girl that told you. She was sending her son Ison because y'all didn't listen to Comet Negra. Y'all went on to murder and allow the murder of 130 million in the Atlantic slave trade, 300 and 400 years of, holy nation of Judah, Israel, enslavement, the continuous, the continuous oppression of the least of these, of the descendants of the holy nation of Christ's blood. And in North America, after the Constitutional Civil War was won, you went on to trample with all-white senates 100 years, all-white ditch. You didn't care that 3 million black men was locked up. You didn't care the blacks' constitutional rights was trampled. You didn't care about the black baby abortions by coercion and infliction of poverty, unnecessary poverty in a land of plenty. You didn't care that, Trayvon Martin was shot. You didn't care that Malcolm X was shot. You didn't care that Malcolm X's grandson was shot. You didn't care that blacks' lifespan was just a minute long. You didn't care that we got dental care. You didn't care that we got health care. You didn't care that we got education. And we worked 400 years for this. But you was willing to offer genocide by trampling to black Americans. Now, these are Comet Negra. These are Comet Negra people that you trample. Now she has released her son called Ison. And if her son, he got the DNA of her, and she had the Black Plague. So what you think Comet Ison tail is coming with after they did their perihelium? And they was willing to do a penance to magnify the fact that they knew that they deserved some level of judgment because they wanted to be in a position to then judge the world for trampling their holy nation along with the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. So he took them in front of his father as Comet Ison. Okay? Now, if his mother sent his son and she came with the Black Plague and you didn't learn nothing and you got all the black deaths in America by hangings, lynchings, 3 million incarcerated, imported cops in blue uniforms, foreigners randomly shooting them, putting them in genocidal conditions, and a constitution was here to protect them because a civil war was fought over them. Buffalo soldiers by 300,000 died. People worked 400 years. Now, Comet Ison is very well in his judgment. And therefore, his mother gave you the warning, Comet Negra. Now her son will be the execution of her warning. And the execution is those who don't have immunity, which means that they are not in Christ. They don't have immunity by not being in Christ or the blood of Christ will start coming down with the bubonic plague. Black death is on the way. All the black death that you did in four corners of the world of the Judah Israel is now returning to you in the form of a bubonic plague that you agreed to and consented to when you said it was okay to murder, trample, kill, and ignore black Judah Israel, the holy nation which the cosmic time governs itself about, which is cosmic time, which is cosmic beings. When you decided to trash the lives by the millions and billions of cosmic beings, you asked for a bubonic plague. You asked for black death, so you shall get black death. That's the judgment. So Comet Ison is very alive, and his tail is even more alive with the bubonic plague. Expect it to come to you soon. And now you know why all the coffins are getting ready and they running for bunkers. See, they ain't telling you this esoteric knowledge. I'm warning you, the bubonic plague from Comet Ison, tail is on the way. And the nucleus is now purified and ready to stand back in judgment. This is Mary Omni from the House of King David. Shalom. This is Mary Omni from the House of King David. Shalom.